Here's the biggest thing. There's a lot of talkers out there. You can say whatever you want. There's so much talk out there, like, show me what you've done.
Any monkey in the circus can make money, but can you consistently make money? Can you make money during good times and bad times? What do you think of this potential new 50-year mortgage deal?
It's all noise. Who the president is, it's noise. You have to be the president of your own family and your own world. It's gonna do a significant bump in the market. This is why I love it. Realistically, it saves them $200-300. They buy more houses. For investors, it's good for us because we have a lot more buyers in the market that can afford those houses. Right. And lastly, they're probably statistically gonna sell that house in 5 to 7 years anyway, and it's not gonna, it'll cost them a little bit more in interest, and that is it.
Welcome back to the All In Podcast. I am your host, Carlos Reyes, and I have a really good friend in town yet again. It looks like he is making Arizona his second home. But before I introduce him, I want to introduce one of the usual suspects right across from me, the most interesting man in the industry, Mr. Zaidy! To my left, I got one of the now frequent and usual suspects, a really good friend of mine, Mr. Scott, a.k.a. Red Suit Realtor out of Utah. What's up, brother? Welcome back to Phoenix.
Life is good. I seriously, I was telling my wife, I said, I might just have to buy a house out here, you know? Oof. And it's a 2-hour flight.
He can help.
It's crazy what happens. People, oh, it's so far away. It's not far away. It's a 2-hour flight.
It's a 2-hour flight?
2-hour
I thought it was
flight.
Like a 45 hour and 20-minute flight.
Well, when you hit the air to air, okay. But you know it takes 20 minutes to get on and off. You remember we did that at the last time when we were going to dinner.
Start looking into JSX.
Okay.
Do they fly? Does JSX fly to Utah?
Yeah.
I think Utah. They're in Utah.
Oh, if you can do JSX, brother, show up 20 minutes before they take off.
At this point, it's the same price as like Southwest.
Yeah. Bro, I just flew JSX to Vegas to speak at Ryan Pineda's event. Bro, I showed up 30 minutes before, no TSA. You know what I mean?
No cavity search.
There's coffee. I mean, it's like they call it semi-private. It's like, it's not private, but it's not commercial. It's right in the middle. And it's still affordable.
It's like a charter with a twist.
There's literally maybe 10, 15 people on the damn plane, you know? So it's so nice, bro. It's so nice.
What's crazy is I don't know how they don't check bags. Like, I mean, I'm not telling anyone to do it, but you could smuggle drugs in there.
There's that little. They got the little scanner. They got the little scanner. Remember, there's a little scanner. It's not. There's no TSA, but there's a little scanner there. But anyway,
it's crazy. It's
listen,
crazy.
Man, I'm glad you're in town. Obviously, I've been seeing you now pretty consistently, just about every month. And you know, I'm really grateful for everything you're doing in the real estate community. I'm very grateful for you continuing to lead and to serve and to love on people the way you have been doing for many, many years, right? We share clients, mutual clients, right? We speak at each other's events. It's been beautiful, bro. So I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah, Jared, he came to our boot camp. You were out there, never flipped a home. Showed up. We kind of pushed him a little bit. What are you waiting for? How are you going to be the contractor for all these other investors if you're not flipping yourself? Drove home with his wife. She pushed him, bought his first deal, made $93,000 on his first flip.
Yep.
And he just needed someone like Carlos to just kind of push him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with most people is they need a coach, they need a mentor, they need someone to push them. And he did it, but he did the work.
You know what's crazy, by the way, just what you just said, brother, is sometimes, first of all, you were the catalyst of that whole situation because I showed up and I did the Vince Vaughn thing again at the world's biggest real estate bus tour, right? You know, I just do the Vince Vaughn thing. I show up. It's the second time I've done it. And I'm just like, just giving out, me and Scotty are just giving out game. Yeah, sometimes he goes on one bus, I go on the other. Mm-hmm. And we're just giving out games, and then we do Q&As or game, and we do Q&As throughout the whole thing. Scotty's walking everybody to his projects, and people are just blown away by, you know, it becomes real and tangible.
Yeah.
Right, Scotty? Why don't you give us a little bit of...
Don't tell them, show them. Like, literally from that event, we've probably 10 deals have been done. It's been like 4 months. And we drove by that house. You saw that house I did in my neighborhood. We couldn't get on the inside because I hadn't locked it up finally. And you know that big house in my neighborhood? I was like, we can't go through it, but we drove by in the buses and I was showing everyone.
Yeah.
I locked that deal up 2 weeks later. I did it in 35 days, 5,600 square feet. Bought it for $850. It was $800. I paid the guy $50,000 wholesale fee. People are like, why would you pay him that much? Like, I don't care how much money they make. Do the numbers make sense for me?
Yeah,
35
absolutely.
days, did it with my wife, my kids, my family, got the whole community, put about 6 figures into it, renovated, the entire top to bottom, and sold it for $1.17 million in my neighborhood.
Wow.
Did it with my kids, my family.
That's beautiful.
Like, real estate is all about relationships and doing it with the right people. And it was like the deal wasn't even locked up at the boot camp. And if I'm going to be teaching people how to fix and flip homes, I better be fixing and flipping homes myself.
And you are, and I've seen them. And I've seen contractors go to your events. I've seen agents go to your event, right? These are people that want to take their real estate venture or career to the next level. Those are the type of people that I've seen attend your real estate bus tour events.
Yeah, it's like, here's the biggest thing. There's a lot of talkers out there. You can say whatever you want. There's so much talk out there. Like, show me what you've done.
Yep.
I think it's huge if a real estate agent that's actually flipping, I would trust that guy more than just the agent who's never flipped, because they don't know what risk is. They don't know how to, they don't care. They just want their commission. So if you've gone through the process, you could explain to them and give them like, hey, I did this house in this neighborhood and I made this much money. This is what I bought it for. Then they could fact check you, look it up, and they're like, wow, why wouldn't I go with this guy? He's going to help me make money and not just get a commission. And,
yeah, that's our model.
and
And
lose my
it's
ass.
crazy because, like, I've been investing since 2006. I didn't get my license till 2019 because I didn't trust realtors.
Yeah.
I got my license to sell real estate because I didn't like real estate agents. They were all about themselves. So I got my license. Now, obviously, with Red Suit Realtor, it's good branding.
Right.
But I actually kind of get a little irritated when people call me a realtor. I'm an investor.
That's
I
right.
use my real estate license as a tool to make more money. And now I have access to information, and I can do referral fees where it'd be a lot harder sometimes with wholesaling. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
I'm just using my real estate license. Like, I'll go to somebody and I'll say, hey, if I bring you a deal, would you be willing to pay me a commission? Sometimes people don't understand the whole wholesaling concept. So I get to skip that factor there, if that makes sense.
right. Yeah.
So anyway,
Speaking of, I'm that deal that you caught me over the phone right now. Looks like we're definitely going to pick it up. So, God willing, we make a net 50 on this deal.
did you get the other number, or was it kind of in the middle?
No, he settled at the top number, which is still a net 50.
But dude, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Like,
Yeah.
it's a relationship deal. Why fight over a couple $1,000s when you can get the next deal? I've figured out, why don't I become friends with all these deal finders and send them to me? And as long as it's a fair number that we all win, like, people are like, how do you get all of your deals? I actually build meaningful relationships with people, and they trust me and they send me the deals.
Right.
Where most wholesalers or investors, they try to squeeze every penny and say, look at what I got. I'm like, you just cost yourself 10 deals by not playing the right game. So over a couple $1,000s, it's like, who cares?
Oh, and by the way, what's funny is I ran numbers based on just the primary front home. There's a studio casita in the back, so you already know that's going to bring in more money. So I like to be very conservative, just in case someone out there that's watching or listening that is a seasoned investor. The way that I run my numbers now is very, very conservative, especially in this market, right? I have a buying criteria. It's mostly affordable housing. I try to stay 450K and under, but this one, the ARV, the after repair value, will be around 510. But I like to get in and out, less than a 4-week project. I don't like to do some crazy, 2 to 3 month type of project, right? I calculate holding costs. I calculate even seller concessions of 3%. I calculate holding costs for 6 months, not 4 months. See, so the way that I run my numbers is completely different than a lot of other people. I look at average days in the market in that zip code, just to see if it's a seller zip code, buyer zip code. I look at the listing pending, listing to pending ratio. So I just kind of scan everything, right? Every possible thing. That way I feel real certain about, my exit.
Yeah. And we just had a guy, he did his first flip with us in less than 2 months.
In
start
Utah?
to finish, and closed it. We got multiple offers.
Yeah.
We finished it in 30 days, less than 2 months. That's unheard of, but 2 to 3 months, if you can get it done and price it right, market it, stage. I know you do that with the staging. You guys knock it out of the park. Every project that when I've been out here, we've gone and seen these projects, and you guys do it the right way. And in this market, you have to do it the right way. It's not 2021 anymore.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you actually, I love that people are like, you don't like this market. I'm like, I love this market because it separates the cream from the crop.
Yeah.
You actually have to be a professional, whereas 2022, anyone could sell real estate. Now you have to be a professional, and you have to have everything dialed into a T.
That's right.
I always say this, any monkey in the circus can make money, right? Have you ever been to a circus? They got the little monkey kind of going around the crowd, and he's taking dollars from people, right? I always say that any monkey in the circus can make money, but can you consistently make money? Can you make money during good times and bad times, right? And that's when that skill set and that experience and that wisdom and that discernment comes in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people ask me, hey, how's the market right now? It's fantastic. Because I'm a professional. Seriously, like, here's the thing. 5 years ago, when everything was selling for 20, 30, 50, 100K over ask, right? You could find skinnier deals. By the time you're done with the reno, it's gone up 3, 4, 5%, but it was harder to find deals. Now that the market shifted, there's more deals that are out there, so you can get better deals, but we're still getting multiple offers on our deals because so that's the thing. You just have to adapt to what the market is actually doing. And most people, they have a one-trick pony. That's all they are. And like what you were saying earlier, it's like people are all the time, like realtors are like, yeah, I work with investors. I'm like, well, do you invest yourself?
Right.
Well, you're selling the Mercedes, but you don't drive the Mercedes yourself. I'm going to trust that guy, not the guy driving the Honda Civic. Now, if you're driving a Honda Civic, I'm going to go to you because you actually understand, you practice what you preach. Drives me up the wall, like the lack of professionalism. Like if you're going to do something, go all in on it, be the expert in your field. And stop trying to be like the jack of all and master of none. And that's what most people fall into, that trap. And it's that whole concept with these whole 50-year interest rates. You have all these people getting on there talking about 50-year interest rates. They have no idea, like, they don't even sell any homes.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's the next topic that we can talk about, right?
Yeah. Well, like I'm just going back and forth with my acquisition guy right now, and I'm like, hey, it's like, as long as we're good on the rehab, because he did walk it, and he walked it with one of our contractors. Normally our contractor has been pretty dead on. He's been off maybe by 2,500 to 3K, which, it's fine. It's digestible, right? But yeah, right now, the people that are making money are the people that know how to buy and how to sell. Yeah. Example, in that specific area, this is Tempe, Arizona. Every single person in that area was listing in the high fives. 590, 575, right? And we went through this deal actually yesterday. And my project manager and myself were going through this deal, and I said, look, bro, I said, I think we can sell this thing pretty quickly at 510. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, look at this deal. It started at 580. As soon as he got to 520, in less than 5 days, it flew off the market. See, so you got to take a look at those patterns too, right? If I come in and I just start at 510, here's what I'm saying. I now have a fairly affordable home priced just right for that zip code in that area, right? But I also have a very good looking home, a renovated home versus all the other homes. And let's just say that, right now the market is obviously, like you said, not in 2021 because it's not. And only maybe, there's like a 40% kind of purchase ratio, right? Well, that means that every 4 out of 10 people are going to buy. Well, I want my home to be one of those 4 homes that these individuals buy because it's priced right. It looks great. and I'm offering seller concessions. I'm helping you close the deal. I'm helping you buy your house, AKA my house.
And the best part about it is if you come in low, you can drive the price up. If you come in high, you're toast.
I like that. I do that all the time.
Here's the biggest thing about it too. It's all about leverage and it's all about control when it comes to this game, because think about it. As soon as, if there's not another offer on the table, it's a buyer's market right now.
Yeah.
But once you have multiple offers, they don't know what that other offer is. So even if somebody comes in and they give you a bad offer, be like, hey, you know what? Hey, would they take a lower offer? Yeah, send it over. Right?
Yep.
Because now you have that leverage. The first thing that realtors, when they call up, they're, hey, do you have any offers? Yeah, I got an offer. Even if it's a bad offer. So the second part is, once you have multiple offers, you know what that takes off the table? What does that take off the table once you have multiple offers? What's everyone asking for right now?
Seller concessions?
Concessions.
Yeah.
Which is, people are asking 10, 20, 30,000 in concessions.
What's 3% on 500,000?
15 grand.
See, so it's like, that's another 15 grand to the bottom line.
So you got multiples that it's like, hey, we just got we're closing on a deal today. Oh, before I forget, I don't think I've told you this. When I was out here and we did that training, remember that training we did here upstairs? On the way out 2 months ago. A guy called me and he's like, hey, I see you're an investor. I see you flipped a home around the corner. Are you interested in a deal? And I was like, I'm always interested in the deal. The answer should always be, I'm always interested.
Yeah.
Never turn anything down. You never know what it's going to be. And I said, cool, tell me about the deal. He sends me the deal. I'm like, oh, wow, this is a good deal. He wanted significantly more. Literally, just like you're closing this deal right now as we speak.
Yeah, I'm back and forth, trying to not interrupt the show.
2 months ago, literally the guy called me up and I was like, and I said to the whole entire group, like, this is the difference between us.
Hold on, he's calling, look.
Let's close this.
What's up, brother?
Hey, it seems like I got to call you twice. Like, the first time I call you, it goes straight to voicemail, and then the second time I call you, it rings.
I'm sorry, bro. It's a brand new phone. Yeah.
It's okay. I just wanted to let you know what was going on.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Yeah, no, good. As long as you answer on the second one.
Yeah, I saw you had 63K for rehab, right?
Yeah, it's like 63, 8 or something.
Yeah. Let me ask you,
so originally we had it at 57, but because of the windows and stuff, he raised it another like $6 grand, I think it was.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, very simple. It's a 1590 square foot home.
The main house, yes.
Yeah. So I was just gonna ask you, how's the roof? How's the plumbing? How's the AC? How's electrical?
Roof is good. The AC, we looked at that. So it's like a split unit. The connect or the blower unit inside, it's a train, bro. It looks semi-new. The unit outside is also a train, bro. It's good. The roof is good. You won't have to do anything on the roof. The electrical, it's
closing deals,
it's
dude.
gonna need some. He didn't say you don't have to rewire the whole thing, but there's some items that we'll have to get done.
Yeah.
We looked at the electrical panel. We lifted it up and looked at it. It looks like it was installed probably in the last maybe 5 or 8 years. It's not that old, bro.
We're good, bro. I mean, the rehab cost that you put on this one, which it appears that it needs a lot less than the property we were looking at in Mesa.
Do
you know what I mean?
Just in Utah?
And
you invest just in Utah?
No, yeah, other states.
You too?
I feel like, because typically, that's why I always want him to come out and look at it, so it doesn't change, because it's like, hey, bro, you went and looked at it, you walked it, and then he asked me, we looked at the windows, he made a recommendation to change them, and I said, okay, what's that going to cost? And then he went up, right? Because one thing he did tell me, Carlos, I don't know if you guys knew this, for them, the reason why his like, and again, I don't know if he's saying the truth or not, right?
he saves a lot of money on material.
And he's about volume, so his costs are going to be always a little lower, because for them, they want to do volume.
Got it. I like it, bro. It's even worst case scenario, you're around $40 a square foot. We usually land between 33 and 36, so we're fine, bro.
Yeah.
We're fine. We're good. We're good, bro. I appreciate it, bro. Let's get this thing done.
Yeah, all right, brother.
Thank you, brother. By the way, the people, you know who's doing my rehabs right now?
Is it Jared?
Jared and his guy Matt. By the way, this all went down on the show. Just bought a deal, right? We just bought that deal. Just wanted to make sure rehab was good, because The other day it was a little funky, the cost. I said, hell, no way we're going to rehab that thing for $45K. That's a $70,000 project. And sure thing, I sent one of my guys out there and it was more. So that's why I'm like, hey, let's make sure we're good on rehab. Seems like we're good. Okay, we're good. So we're moving on. But what were you saying?
We walked a deal and the pool was all jacked up. And that's a 25,000.
That's right, yeah.
That you don't realize there's a lot of things you spend money on the roof. You don't get a big return on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
There was a woodpecker. So you got to have guys that you got to walk it yourself or have guys that really, really know their numbers.
I had 2 guys
that's
walk it.
That's where you actually lose money. I'm going to call so anyway, while we were up there, guy said it and I said, you know what? Let me just close this deal. Close the deal up in front of everyone. Lock this deal up there. The guy sent me the deal because he knew I was an investor, right? It's the one I did with my kids. I don't know if you've seen it with Shay
with your daughter.
And Cruz. And now my youngest son wants to do another one. So I did the one with my son on one side of the street, did the one with my daughter directly across the street, and my 10-year-old felt left out. And so that guy saw that I did those 2 deals, sent me that deal. It's more sentimental for me on this deal.
Yeah.
And we're closing on that deal today.
So you're flipping a house with your 10-year-old son now?
10-year-old son now.
Great education.
And he's all excited. He wants to hang out with dad and do all these cool stuff. And he's like, well, we were negotiating.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what do you want? My daughter wanted a stinking car. I'm like, I'm not giving you a car.
Isn't she 13?
Yeah, we ended up on headphones, right? No, she wanted a scooter. And my son, he can have a scooter. My 13-year-old, no, I'm not buying you a scooter right now.
Yeah.
And so we ended up on really nice headphones. But my son, I said, what do you want? He's like, I want 5 packs of Pokemon cards.
Wow.
I got to teach him how to negotiate a little bit better, right?
I mean, if he gets a rare Pokemon, he might be able to buy a house with that card, So
is that how it works with Pokemon? Or they're
the special edition. I'm not too versed on it, but I know some of them go for millions.
Wow.
That's a serious deal.
By the way, I wanted to
maybe you'll get lucky,
Since we're talking a little shop, right? We're talking a little real estate. I wanted to ask you both. And we'll start with you. Actually, we'll start with you, Scotty. What do you think of this potential new 50-year mortgage deal that Trump's trying to come out with?
Look, it's all noise. Everything else is noise. Who the president is, it's noise. You have to be the president of your own family and your own world.
Mm-hmm.
This is just another, it's another almost like clickbait. I love it personally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here's why. Because if you look at statistics, the average person lives in their house 5 to 7 years.
That's right.
They're not going to live there for 50 years. And in 50 years, the way that the rates have gone up consistently since the 50s, they've gone up significantly higher than the stock market.
That's right.
So in 50 years, you buy a house that's 500,000. What do you think that house is going to be worth in 50 years?
That's right.
2 million, 3 million, 4 million. So it's going to do a significant bump in the market. This is why I love it. And realistically, it saves them $200-300. They buy more houses. For investors, it's good for us because we have a lot more buyers in the market that can afford those houses. Right. And lastly, they're probably statistically going to sell that house in 5 to 7 years anyway. And it's not going to, it'll cost them a little bit more in interest. And that is it.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about other than how many people do you know have lived in a house for 50 years? Name them on your hand.
Not one.
Very rare.
So what are we talking about?
So I think, why don't we play a little devil's advocate?
Okay. Love to hear it.
Right. So I was doing the math on average home, $450,000, right, across the country. And I was doing the math yesterday. Literally, it's like if you get a 30-year mortgage at a 6.3 rate, this is excluding the taxes and insurance, right? Your mortgage payment was $2,787. Now you take those same terms of the loan and you do a 50-year mortgage now. Right, it's $2,510. You're saving around $277 a month. However, right, if you got the 30-year mortgage, by the time you're done paying your house, right, if you fulfill, right, the entire 30 years, you'll end up paying close to like $1 million or $1 million overall for the $450,000 loan.
Yeah.
Right. Once it reaches its amortization. Right. Now, for that same house, if you do a 50-year loan on it, Now you're paying $1.5 million. So it's like a whole nother $500,000, right? I think there's pros and cons to that for some people because you're right. You and I, we flip houses like we're flipping pancakes. But here's the reality of it. You just mentioned something. You said, the average person is in their home 5-7 years, right? And by the way, that used to be the case. Now I've been doing a lot more research, and the average tenure of a homeowner is around 11.8 years. It's gone up. Watch this. 20 years ago, right? The average age of a first-time home buyer was around 30 years old. Now it's around 40.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this more from like the macro perspective of, things in America are becoming unaffordable. I got multiple phone calls over the last 2 weeks of several human beings, several people that I know that were having a tough time buying groceries. Uber Eats and DoorDash are now financing. No, they are.
That's crazy.
So I care about this country.
Yeah. Wow.
I care about this country deeply. My daughters are born into this country, right? I risked my life to come to this country. I denounced my citizenship of my, where I was born, Mexico.
I think everyone should do that.
What was that?
I think that should be a criteria to get your citizenship.
Unless you're from a foreign country in the Middle East.
I think everyone.
It's the only
should do
time
that.
you don't have to denounce it.
I think everyone should do that.
Which is very weird. Anyway, but let's not get into that because that's nuts right now, right?
Yeah.
However, right, my daughter's born in this country. I married, my wife is an American citizen. She was born in this country. This is the country that I am helping build now, right? This is the country that has my allegiance and my heart and my future and the empire that I'm building, right? This building that I own. I don't think I could ever own this type of building in Mexico. So here's what I'm saying. Something has to change, right? If you look at the bigger picture, you're right. For your average, your average consumer or the average American, $300 is a big deal. Yeah. $300 is a big deal, right? But at the same time, man, it's like, what happened to the America of the old America where the father/husband worked, right? And that was enough to be able to afford a comfortable living, a home, a car, right? Vacation money, groceries, utility bills, 401k or retirement plan. Where's that America? Yeah. Because now it seems like we are drifting very, very far away. And here's the other thing that you're not talking about. What happened with BlackRock and these big institutional buyers over the past 5 years? They picked up a lot of single family homes at 110 to 120% of market value.
Yeah, that's right.
So now, right, that kind of threw a wrench in affordability, where it's almost becoming a rental, right? Or I would say a rent type of society. So that's what I'm looking at now.
Which is
because
a controlling society. If everyone's rental,
you will own nothing, you will owe everything, and you will be happy.
Yeah, and no cash, right? You get into digital currency and all these other things, they could shut it off overnight. They're trying to eliminate cash for a reason because a lot of it's control. But here's the other thought. This is exactly what's going to happen. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Nobody's talking. I've heard zero people talking about this. Okay, so now the rate goes to a 50-year versus a 30-year. The only thing that's going to happen is somebody originally could afford a $550,000 house. Now all they're going to do is now I can afford a $600,000 house.
Be in the same spot.
So they're going to be in the exact same spot with the 50-year. All they're going to do is just buy a nicer home. So now, you see what I'm saying?
Now, this is good for you and I,
Yeah,
it's going to be a short-term boost. It's, you know how
we're
it
getting
is.
killed on the 600 to 700, 800,000.
Yes,
The meat,
yes.
I call them the keep up with the Jones houses.
That's right.
The 600 to 900,000 house that's a tough market. People that have cash over $1 million, no problem.
Yep.
People like you want to stay like in our market below like 550 and below. It's very similar to Arizona.
That's right.
But it's the 550 to 950. Those are the houses that are sitting on the market.
Yep.
And so this will help us investors
Yes.
definitely, but is it going to help the entire country to become more of a debt society people? And that's exactly what this does because of the lack of education.
Incrementally, it looks like we're headed there, man. You know?
I think she hit a couple points, man.
Real quick, I bought my first home at the age of 27 years old. I don't see any 27-year-olds today buying a home. That's all I'm saying.
Even if they
and
could
it's sad.
afford it, they're
With me,
renting.
they are. We're going to do hard money. We're going to flip it. We'll do private
Oh,
money.
yeah.
and-
See, but I'm talking about as a consumer to raise a family.
But here's the thing. We can talk about all these little things that the government and everyone's doing.
Yeah.
What can we do to control the inside? Like the education of like, hey, you can fix and flip a home. You're paying 12% interest. You have a ton of equity. Now you can come back and refi that deal.
I
right?
like where your mind's at.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it's like, instead of buying a house, like I do the same thing. Here you buy the casita. In Utah, most of the houses I buy have separate entrances. That way I can put a
build
kitchen
a
in them.
casita, yeah.
That way mom and dad can live in the basement or upstairs or friends or roommates. And so a big part of how we can change this world is by educating the people and teaching them about money and dollars and money, which our schools are failing us because you have school teachers that have never ran businesses before.
Or own a
You know
home.
what would be dope is if like entrepreneurs got together and said, look, I've been successful. I've ran businesses. We don't need any school teachers, maybe through elementary, but we go out and teach the schools. They don't need 7 hours there.
Yeah.
We did a 2 to 3 hour on business. What would happen to our society if
But that's not what, I mean, our government.
They don't want that. They want the opposite.
Yeah, they win when people are uneducated.
they want us
financially.
medicated?
Codependency.
Yeah.
They want us
Codependency.
medicated. They want us on credit card payments.
But even with home ownership, I mean, you brought it up, like we don't ever really own a home if you really break it down, because there's an HOA. Okay, you don't pay HOA, it's not your house anymore. Let's just say there's no HOA. Let's say you pay it off fully. You still don't own it.
Yeah,
because
what-
if you don't pay the taxes, Uncle Sam takes your house. So we're all renting.
You got
at
5
the end of
years
the
on
day,
that though.
You know, but
right.
if you're at least you own it, you could sell it and you could get the lion's share of the profit. Where renting, you don't get a profit. And then to strike to your other point, you know, house prices always go up when you look at it from far enough, right? If you look at it 2-3 years, no, that's not true. 5 years, 10 years might not be true. 20 years, I don't know one house that's dropped in value in 20 years. It always goes up. So whether that they're getting screwed on their interest, they don't really care about that. They're not thinking about that. They're only thinking about, you know, am I paying less monthly? Am I paying $200 less? That's all they're thinking about. That's the financially uneducated person is thinking about that. So they're gonna jump all over this 50-year mortgage.
We've become a consumer, high debt to income ratio society.
The crazy thing about our society, though, we could be like, we don't even have to pay taxes if it's run correctly, but we give away so much money, which drives up inflation, which makes our dollar worth nothing. And you know, just last year, well, 2 years ago, they tried to push for digital currency. They're still going to do it. You know, it was going to be digital currency, no more dollars. And now, you know, with the current president or whatever, he doesn't want to do that. But I mean, we're kind of doing that because the penny is no longer being made now. This is like the first part. So it costs more. It costs 2 cents to make a penny.
Wow.
So they stopped making pennies.
Can I ask you guys?
So imagine,
both
hold on,
something?
before that, like the price of pennies is going to go up, just in case anyone wants
Are you
to know,
collecting
like,
pennies?
My son is, yeah, because by the time he's 30, they might be worth more than a penny. Yeah.
Let me ask you both something, by the way. Did we get bamboozled this time around?
I mean, it's better than the alternative, bro.
We keep saying that.
No,
We
it's
keep
better
saying
than the
that.
alternative.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing. So we're about how many months in now? January sworn in, so
over a year.
we're not a year in yet. We're like
Yeah,
11
November.
months.
November is
January
when he got sworn
is
in.
No, but he
won
exactly,
in November. Yeah,
10
okay.
So
Yeah,
we're about 10 months, right? Okay. 10 months. I was hoping that the economical golden age would arrive by now. That 47 promised us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to go back to booming like we were in 17, 18, 19, 2020 a little bit until obviously, that whole thing that went down that I don't want to say it because, YouTube, but COVID, AKA, the jab and, you know what I mean? Right. But let me just give you guys a little perspective because you brought up something very powerful. You said, even when we pay off our mortgage, we technically probably don't truly own our home because we're paying HOA and we're paying taxes, et cetera, right? So, do you guys remember the Boston Tea Party?
Yeah.
Right. It's a pivotal historical event in this country's history. Right. So that went down on December 16th of 1773. Right. Okay. Let's talk about that for a second. Because you brought up taxes. Right. Well, back in the day, that whole thing that went down, right? A little rebellion and, that whole thing went down. That if you look at the total tax burden on colonial Americans at that time, not just tea, right? It was likely around 1 to 1.5% of income, which is extremely small compared to today.
Yeah, of course. 40, 50%.
But now like nobody's, nobody's, and I'm not sitting here, calling for anarchy or, pushing anybody to go and do anything. I'm not saying that. But what's happened to our country that we, whatever we're told, hey, you got to pay this and that's just what it is. Like, what happened? Did we just get too big?
Well, a few things. So first, taxation was introduced only for the rich. And then after everyone agreed to it and it passed, then they just, we're going to tax everybody. So, but at the end of the day, if it's used for the right reason, taxation is great. Why? Because wealthy people don't have their houses broken into. The middle class supplies poor people with money, so poor people don't break into houses. So, I mean, the system works, but when it's not your money, it's very easy to spend. Mm-hmm. So too many people got into government who are, kings, because obviously you can't be a king if you're in office for 4 years, because it's 4 years, 8 years. But if you're sitting in Congress for 50 years, I don't care if you're Mother Teresa. If you're anybody but Jesus Christ, you're going to get corrupt because that's what power does. You can't sit there for 50 years and not be on the take. So,
are you talking about, did you hear that Nancy Pelosi just is about to retire?
There's one, yeah, but
did
there's
you
so many other people.
Did you see that?
Did you see the article about how much money, the hundreds of millions of dollars she's made?
Like
and what's going to happen to her?
career?
Nothing will happen to her.
Like a what?
She is the
1,700% return.
She's the Nancy Pelosi.
Mathematically impossible.
Nancy Pelosi is the world's greatest stock trader.
Yeah, for sure.
Next
Hands
level.
down.
Just like Newsom is the greatest real estate agent known to Arizona.
Oh my God. But who allows this guy?
Yeah, so I think that's the part. I think it's not so much the taxation. It's just where, like, you have these people that have never ran businesses, a lot of them struggle just building anything, and they're the ones in control of our money.
That's ridiculous.
That's the biggest problem with the whole process. You get taxed on everything every time you buy a house. Like, it's like title fees. It's another thing. Us being fix and flippers. It's the same concept. Like, we just paid a policy. I got to pay it again on the front side, the back side. Like, how many times? HOA transfer fees.
Yeah.
A lot of times if you're a real estate investor, that's the part people don't know how to run the numbers. Mm-hmm. There's so many little fees that are in there that will eat you alive if you're not very prudent. So that's why you got to get your numbers dialed in. But it's the same concept with taxation. It's like you go to Vegas, there's a food tax. There's so many and so I think, and I guess the question is like on a macro level, like the society, we live in we're prisoners of debt. Basically,
That's right. Yeah,
is
that's
what
right.
we live in.
Yeah.
The question is, though, Carlos, and I've always been that person, like, turn off the news, right? Be the president of your own family, your own world.
Yeah.
And like life is happening here. Use that as motivation to go out there and build that life that you want and build your own infrastructure. And the problem that happens is that people believe these guys. That's like, right. It's almost like it's like the frog. You heard the story about the frog. If you throw it in the hot water, it's going to jump right out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you slowly boil the water, that's exactly what's happening with taxation, all these laws. That's what's happening with the one of these. And we're not talking about peptides that you put in your arms every day. And so I think that's the problem, that we get so numb to living in a society of where it comes down to control.
And I love that point you hit, Scotty, because I think it's idol worship, man, because you like worship this politician where you should be only worshiping God, and you should be the president of your home. Like you said, that's perfect. It doesn't matter what's going on with the politics, because you just have to know what's going on and adjust for your family. But what you can't do is sit there and be like, well, I can't do this because of that. No, you have to figure out how to make what you do work because of that.
Aren't politicians supposed to be public servants?
Yes, exactly.
So real quick, just to go back to Nancy Pelosi, I just looked it up. Nancy Pelosi made $130 million in stock profits during her Congress career, a return of 16,930%.
World's greatest, world's largest real estate bus tour.
She's the GOAT.
She's the GOAT.
She's the GOAT.
We should bring her on the podcast and ask her how she did it.
Here's what people ask me. They say, "Hey, do you have a good tax guy, or what should I do on it?" I said, just go follow the congressmen and women and just copy and do exactly what they're doing. Yeah. They're the ones creating and changing the laws. The tax code has like almost 100,000 pages in the tax code.
Yeah.
H&R Block will use like 10 of the forms. Right. And so if you really want to in real estate, and if you really understand real estate on a macro level, it's not so much making money flipping homes. It's a tax game. That's what real estate is, a tax game.
And the tax code is designed to not pay taxes. People see it the other way because they only focus on the 10%, which is telling you what you have to pay taxes for. The other 90% is what you said, how to avoid paying taxes legally.
So Google this right here. Two things, right? Cost segregation study. That's stuff that we can take advantage of, right? It helps you with taxes. It's just deferred, right? And then the second one is, this one's a good one. I don't know if you guys have ever done these. Land conservation easements.
No.
That's what all Congress does. So literally they'll go buy I've done these.
What was the second one? Land what?
Land conservation easements. And it's been a year or two since I've done the last one, but what we did is in Utah, we'd go buy a whole bunch of land that was worth like 30 million. Okay. A group of us, depending on our taxes. And then what happens is that land is worth 30 million because there's 30 million worth of coal underneath it. But it would cost $30 million to get, I don't talk too much about this, but this is what I do, right? Because for a lot of people, they're like, I don't get it, I don't understand. You have to make so much money. But this is what most Congress is doing. Land conservation easements. So then what happens, the land, you get it for $1 million. You have someone that, you have the appraisers come out, you have the coal appraisals, like it's legit.
Yeah.
But it would cost $30 million to actually get it out. So it's not really worth much to you. It's not a good return. So what you would do is people will go in there and they'll actually donate that land back to the county.
Yeah.
Now the county can use it for gun ranges, land that they can't use, like you can't buy the land anymore. It's like a gift to the county. So the county loves it because they get extra land that they can use for recreational or whatever.
You a tax break based on the
instead
value?
And talk to your CPAs on this. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. This is what I've heard. This is what I've seen. This is what what happens instead when you donate it back, you don't get the $1 million that you did. A lot of times you get that $30 million evaluation on the property that you can actually hedge versus your taxes. So look it up.
I'm seeing
Congress, so congressmen and women use that a ton. And so they're not going to change that law because it's saving
They
them
benefit on it,
millions and millions of dollars in taxes. So why would they push to change that law? Remember,
They
tax
won't.
the rip. They won't. So
Yeah.
back to the whole point, just copy what Congress is doing.
Yeah.
Find a CPA that works with congressmen and women, and they will like.
brilliant.
I mean, I'm just a little nugget there off
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
side. That's a nugget that a lot of people don't do, and it's legit. It's legitimate law. It has to be done properly. You have to have all your ducks in a row. But that's what a lot of congressmen and women are doing, so they don't have to pay that much in taxes.
Do you remember when during the 2016 presidential debate, actually, it was Donald Trump and Hillary were going at it, right? And Hillary kept bringing up his taxes. Remember, you release the tax, right? Release your tax records, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, he's like, of course I take advantage of the tax laws, right? And so do all your donors and your friends. They use the same tax code.
Yeah.
Remember that?
And if you have a problem with it, change it.
And you're right.
Yeah.
These wealthy, extremely rich billionaires, multimillionaires, politicians, they really know their way around the tax code. And when was the last time the tax code was changed? I mean, there's modifications.
Like, yeah,
There-
modifications.
they're
it hasn't
small.
changed to a different system. that
Yeah,
they've been
there's
pushing, like a flat tax and that other stuff.
Yeah. What was that one that Trump used to use where if you bought a vehicle over 6,000 pounds,
Yeah.
right? It was
Yeah,
like boom.
I just bought a truck a couple years ago.
But remember, Biden brought it back down to like 80, and then he was going to bring it down to like 60.
Yeah, 60
and then
or
Trump
70.
brought it back.
Yeah. So if you buy a
Conveniently.
vehicle over like 6,500 pounds, and a lot of the Teslas, they would build my big red truck. I probably wouldn't have bought that. I'm just not a car guy. It's just not my thing. But a buddy of mine's like, hey, I can get a really good truck for you. It's over 6,500 pounds. It's $100,000 write-off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I let it sit
Cybertruck.
there. I don't put a lot of miles. It's like a boat.
Yeah.
You don't drive it that much. You care about the mileage, not the age of it, right? Take good care of it. And so I get tax write-offs, and then you can actually break that up. Like you got to talk to your Here's the thing: the biggest mistake that a lot of people make is they try to do it all themselves instead of finding really, really good professionals in that field. My tax guy saw him doing a YouTube video, no joke, like 16 years ago in his basement. I'm like, I like this guy. This guy's a hustler. This guy's literally bringing me deals. He's the one that told me about these other investments that are out there. You want to find somebody that literally, and he's crushing it. Whatever he is doing, he's using the system instead of it being against him. He's using it for him.
And that's a gem, Scotty, because it's not a lot of CPAs aren't investors or they don't know that stuff. So you need a CPA kind of like you, right? Like you're not a real estate agent, you're an investor that happens to have a license, right? So you need to find a real estate investor that happens to be a CPA, essentially, because then he knows what to do. He's doing it himself.
You should have multiple attorneys. You should have multiple accountants. You should have a power team surrounding you.
Absolutely.
Even with law. I mean, I've got like 5-6 different attorneys. I got real estate attorneys, asset protection attorneys, right? General attorneys. You know what I'm saying? We live in this world where you want to have the right people that you trust. And like you said, it's like every person has a tax professional maybe that understands crypto is not going to do the same thing that understands real estate.
Exactly.
Yep. And by the way, it's called tax code. It's the tax code. It's section 179. Section 179 with the
That's the easement.
the gross vehicle weight rating of over 6,000 pounds, but less than 14,000 pounds. You get a write off there on that. It used to be 100%, and I think Biden might have dropped.
Is it 75 now?
I think Biden might have dropped that down to 60. I'm still going through it, but and then I think Trump's trying to bring it back up to 100% again. So 2023 was 80. It was 80. 2024 60. This is the 100% bonus on the bonus depreciation side. It is phasing out. So on the bonus depreciation side, it's 40% as of 2025. So again, I'm not a tax professional, but again, there's a reason why a lot of wealthy individuals are constantly, buying Escalades and G-Wagons and F-250s, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to try to offset as much as possible. And there's so much of that out there. But I like what you were saying earlier, right? The government's not coming to save us.
Nope.
You know, Trump's not coming to save us, or the next administration in 2028 is not coming to save us. We have to be the president of our own little country, which is our home, our house. We got to get our house in order, right? We got to make sure we're making good decisions, you know.
We have good ally countries.
We gotta get around the right people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I believe that, you know, at the end of the day, that's the absolute best thing that we can do, because here's what's happening in America. The middle class it's getting wiped out. You know, you were saying earlier about financial literacy. Like, yo, hey man, just invest into a home, you know, invest in or flip a home or buy some rentals, offset some taxes, get some cash flowing assets. But here's the sad part about that, right? There was a study done recently this year that evidently proved that most Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank accounts. And that is so sad, because here we are, $38 trillion in debts, and we're still sending money to foreign countries. We just sent some money to Argentina. Right. We're constantly sending money to the Middle East. Like, why? If you're in a $38 trillion debt, which I believe 3 to 6 trillion of that was from the war in Iraq, which we had no business being in, right? We didn't find any of those big, massive, nasty weapons of mass destruction for some reason. But crazy, right? But what I'm saying is, you know, why are we still sending money to all parts of the world, and we're $38 trillion in debt right now, and most Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank accounts? Come on. How does that make sense?
Here's the thing. Until there's a new political party that comes, it's just going to be more.
It doesn't matter though. Now,
it's the same. It's the same.
It's the left
thing.
and the right,
it's
right?
It's a different color, but it's the same animal. It's
left
like,
wing, right wing.
It's like what is it? The
same
little
bird.
Who is it? The wolf and Mary. What's that called?
The Three Little Pigs.
Is it Three Little Pigs?
I think you're right. Yeah.
It is the Three Little Pigs.
He's dressed up as a nice
it
old lady.
It doesn't matter who wins the election. You're going to have the corruption on both sides.
The agenda
of
is
it.
the agenda. Yeah.
But Trump told us that he was going to drain the swamp.
And Nancy Pelosi says she's a good investor and it's legit. It's the same shit.
Anyway, let me find out how much money, you know, we just sent to Argentina. Yeah. But regardless, like you said, Scotty, you're right. We got to get around the right people. We got to start investing into our own, you know, self-education, into our own personal development. And we have to increase our financial literacy, right? We have to improve our business acumen. It's the only way that we have a shot at actually thriving in this country at this moment.
It's like, I look at it like this, and I'm sorry to interrupt. If as a father you're in debt, how are you going to teach your children to not be in debt? And that goes to the country. If the country's in debt, then the country is incapable of teaching the citizens how to not be in debt. So you have to take matters into your own hands to ensure that you learn how to not be in debt.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, to answer your question, we can teach our kids is that you're not going to change the system personally, but you have to understand like what the rules are in the game, if that makes sense. That's so right, anytime I'm playing a game, before I do anything at all, I want to understand what the rules are.
That's right.
What are the guidelines? Because that changes everything. Right. It's like, think about it when you're playing cards, like poker and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It's a huge difference when you go first compared to when you go at the very end.
Absolutely.
You could have the same cards and be in first position, and that's terrible, and be in last position, and your situation improves significantly.
Yeah,
so really understanding the positioning of your kids, and I always tell that, like with the kids, because I have older kids. My youngest is 10, my oldest is 29. I have 2 granddaughters.
20? Wow.
29. I got 2 I have a 5-year-old grandbaby. And
blessings.
And the thing that you can teach your kids more than anything, 2 things, right? Teach them to work, because as long as they know how to work, they're going to be okay.
They're going to put food on the table.
That's okay. Some kids don't want to be this and multimillionaire, and they're happy, right? And number 2, teach, and you can't just teach them this, you have to show them this, but integrity matters.
That's right.
Your integrity, your word is your bond. And I've even seen it on these wholesale deals, to bring it back to real estate, where I've told guys, I said, look, if my investor doesn't take the deal, I'm going to take the deal. Like, my word means something. And every single time investor, because people say to me, hey, if you're going to take it, you better take it. And they don't take it. Yep. And then I'm like, I'm going to take the deal because I made a commitment to that person that we would take that deal. And relationships is everything across the board. So, like, to bring it back to your kids, and I think this is the problem that we have as a society, is that mom and dad are doing one thing and they're teaching their kids to do something else.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, I remember sitting in the room with Ed Milet. This was 3 years ago. I was up at Keaton's house, and there was Ed, Andy was there, Brad was there. It was a really cool mastermind. No, I think you were at the next one.
I was at the party when Steve Aoki was.
Yeah, he threw a cake at my face.
He slammed you. Yeah. He threw a whole cake at your face.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, you got.
I baited him. I baited him. I'm like, get the camera on. I got the footage. I remember
you were like, come on, bring it on. He's like, okay.
Wow. Left
he does that in every show, right? That's like his staple.
That's his thing, but he usually throws like 100 yards away. But
you sold him on you.
But I think you were what 5 feet away from the guy?
Yeah, well, he was like aiming at everyone else and hitting them all lined up. And I was like, this guy can't hit me. He can't hit me. You're terrible. And then all of a sudden, boom, hit me right in the face.
Did it hurt?
It was beautiful. No, it was great.
It's awesome.
It felt great.
It's awesome.
It felt
You didn't
great.
duck.
Like, it was a badge of honor.
Yeah,
that's great.
You know what I mean? Your mess is your message.
Ooh.
And that night, right after that happened, I pulled out the old phone, did the Insta Live, I had cake all over me. And it was a conversation starter too. Absolutely. There were like 200 amazing people in the room. We walked through. You were there. I mean, that was beautiful. But Ed Milet said, and it called me out and it said, hey, we teach our kids, go live your dreams. And then your kids look us in the eye and like, well, mom and dad, you ain't living your dream. And I was like, dude, that when he, and Ed, the way he speaks, when he said that, like, that pierced my core. Yeah. And so everything that I've done with my kids is really been off of those Ed Milet just coming back at me every time. I'm like, okay, how do we do this? You know what I mean? Like, those are powerful messages that are like life changers. Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun because I realized, like, and you'll see this, and like, I'm envious of your position. I mean, you have your 13-year-old daughter, but you also have your other, and
my 7-year-old, and now I have a 5-month-old. My wife is 5 months pregnant.
You've announced it. Okay, I don't want to lay that out in case that's not news, but
what a blessing.
But what a blessing to have, like I would give anything to go back and have my kids be your age. And at times with your 5-year-old, you're like, man, I wish this kid would get a little bit older because they're kind of in that phase in life. I would give anything to have my kids. Dude, it's like a flash before your eyes how fast those kids grow up. So and I've realized I've got like 5 years, genuine years, where I can have influence on my kids. No joke, 5 years. Because once my youngest is 15, 16, my older ones are off. Like, us as parents, they're influential until they're about 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And then the world and even though they don't listen to you, but they watch you. And even they might take a couple of years of rebellion. My oldest, who's 29, he did not like me because the way I parented it. But when he came back to me when he was 24, he said, Dad, I didn't like the way that you raised me, but I'm so grateful the way that you raised me.
Wow, he said that?
And that was like one of the most beautiful moments. Because at the time, it's like, honey's like, you're being too hard or you're being a bad guy. And I was like, honey, just trust the process. And now he's doing amazing. He's doing great. He's got 2 kids. I got you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, that's the thing about beautiful. The experiences in every single moment. And Carlos, I want to share this because this is really important.
I'm listening.
Yesterday, I got the news, our power went out, at midnight. Not yesterday, the night before. I was like, oh, the power went out. And so I was like, everyone's like, oh, how are we going to live? And all of a sudden I got a message from my wife that said a 15-year-old boy was on the power lines climbing them. Like, I was almost like a bet. I don't know exactly what happened.
Sad.
I don't know what happened. But the 15-year-old literally got electrocuted. In my neighborhood, like right above. You've been to that neighborhood. You've seen it right up above there. Got electrocuted. And, the saddest thing is when I heard who it was, this kid was absolutely beautiful. I knew him very, very well. His name's Michael Sears. 15-year-old kid that I coached football. And his dad was my assistant coach. Yeah. And he was the most beautiful kid. out there, and it's crazy to understand how fast things can change in your life.
Yeah.
But I've had 2 friends this year alone lose their 15-year-old son. I have a 15-year-old son. No parent should endure that at that age, at 15.
Scary.
Yeah.
No parent should ever endure that. And so the message, that I hope your listeners listen to is like, hug your kids, love your kids. The rest of the world does not matter. Like, take advantage of every second, every minute you get with them, because they will be gone before you know it. And your biggest regret will be 10, 20 years down the road. I wish I would have spent more time with them. I wish I would have taken him down on that trip. I wish I would have flown him. I wish I would have flipped a home with them. And I feel like that's really what this world is all about. Like, being the president of your own family, right? And taking ownership and control. So I just want to give a shout out to my man, Michael Sears. I love that kid to death. And to see him go through what he went through in his family. But, these kids sometimes become the heroes for us.
Yep.
And, it's just been one of those things that you never know when your time's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
God has a plan. We don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
anyway, sorry. I just wanted to
for
give
sure,
him
bro.
a shout out, because he was such a beautiful soul, and his
Yeah.
dad's a good friend of mine,
Yeah.
and Paul's such a great man. So
Yeah. Well, as we wind down the show, any last words, Mr. Zaidy?
Yeah, just to echo what we've been talking about, which is, take control of your life by just the only person you should look up to is God, and don't worry about anybody else. And just, if the world is this, and this city is going through this, and this mayor or this president or Congress, whatever it is, man, just understand the rules, play the game better than anyone else.
There you go. Scotty?
the only person you should really take advice from and follow is the Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And if everyone follows Jesus Christ, that brings everyone together. That's really, that should be the person that you're listening to.
Amen, brother. Another great show. Thanks for stopping in. All right. We'll see you next week. God bless.